midday. And that is the other sad bit. And the president has requested probe into this issue, and the IGG's office is already doing investigations, and we hope for a report. And the question is it a tragedy or it's actually criminal negligence? All that will be unveiled as events unfold, and well, we'll keep you updated on the same. Right now, let's check in with Robert. I don't know how he's feeling and what information he could be having on the Chitezi incident. Good morning, Robert.
Well, I must say it's not a good morning because when we see lives of people being lost,
right,
there is what we call natural death. You know, Chantal, I fall sick, and then the Lord calls me. It's natural death.
Right.
And usually we believe natural death should be a result of age or a chronic disease. Now, there's what we call avoidable death and what we call preventable death.
Right.
Now, nobody in Chitezi died of natural death.
That
These died of preventable death, meaning their death could have been prevented. And if we remember about 10 years back, 2005, that site was supposed to be decommissioned, but it wasn't because it was showing it was a health threat. It had to be left and they work on something else for another site. And KCCA purchased land somewhere of about 3 billion shillings. Now, nothing has been put on that land, even as we speak today. That KCC spent the taxpayers' money to purchase that land. Issues, those we can discuss later. Now, the people that died, the people that were injured. Yesterday, I saw the police spokesperson for Kampala Metropolitan, Patrick Onyango, stating the number to be 18 that have so far perished in this preventable death. But of course, numbers keep varying and increasing. Now, we cannot talk about rescue still going on because when disaster happens, there is a time that is for rescue. Then after 24 hours,
Quick response, yes.
you ceased to be on a rescue mission. Now what you're doing is something else. You're either getting the dead bodies,
right,
and or clearing the site and other things.
And you know, those who went there before, in the beginning, they say they could hear people calling out for help. But the unfortunate bit was that they could not even help them. And like I said, rescue teams, the first rescue team arrived at around midday.
So now we can't say they're carrying out rescue because when you look at Saturday morning, you go to Sunday yesterday, there are many more chances, and I would say it could be a miracle that a live person is gotten from that debris. So it is very hurting that this is a preventable death, that we are seeing these people lose lives, others having also, those that have survived, life-lasting effects of this. Some may never walk again, others will have all sorts of challenges. Not forgetting the grace of God, that those that came out, there is completely nothing that happened to them. We glorify the Lord for that. Yes. And
President Museveni went ahead and directed the State House to financially assist the families of the affected. Those who have lost loved ones will be getting 5 million each, and those who have had injured ones who are still alive, they'll be getting 1 million shillings each. And this is away from any compensations that should be done just in case it is actually found out after investigation that this was criminal negligence, and which body was responsible for this negligence. Well, more information will be coming up on the same, and we hope to God that actually there is no negligence, because now that takes away the confidence that the Ugandans would be having in these authorities and bodies that are put in place to ensure the safety of the Ugandans. You know,
yesterday I was watching the Deputy Executive Director of KCCA when he was asked that this site would have been decommissioned around 2005 or 10 years ago. Now he said, yes, that is true, but we didn't have the money. So how can you take me on negligence when I failed on issues of finances? So it's a tricky thing, but all we can say, may God strengthen the families of the loved ones, and may government at such a time have the ability to ensure that these people, at least, because they're not supposed to leave this place. And for me, I suggest even forceful evacuation. Though they are telling them it is upon you, you can. No, let's have forceful evacuation, because it's not a safe place.
Right, now we'll be getting into the local stories, but before that, just a little update on the Youth Day celebrations that are taking place in Soroti today. This year's theme is Youth Digital Pathways for Sustainable Development, and this highlights the critical role youth play in driving socio-economic and environmental progress today. Please do note that the biggest percentage of the Ugandan population, that is over 70%, is made up of the youth, and I believe this is a conversation that is definitely very important for the growth of the country. Well, away from that, let's cross over into today's local stories.
Well, and we'll start with the unfortunate incident of Kitezi, where President Yoweri Museveni has ordered for a thorough investigation into the Kitezi landfill disaster that occurred on Saturday morning, resulting into loss of lives and property damaged. The Deputy Inspector General of Government, Anne Muhire, announced this while on site at Kitezi, where she was assessing the situation and gathering information from the public. The situation in Kitezi remained critical as government rescue operations continue. The death toll rose from 8 to 18 following recovery of more bodies. Yet on Saturday, evacuation trucks were working to clear the debris in hope of rescuing those that were still trapped under the waste. Government officials, including the Deputy Inspector General of Government, visited the site, evacuating and elevating and assessing the situation to collect sufficient information. The Deputy IGG said that President Yoweri Museveni called for an immediate investigation into the cause of the disaster. The Office of the Prime Minister reports that over 2,000 families have been affected by this tragedy. Charles Odongotho, the spokesperson of the Office of the Prime Minister, assured that there are plans in place to provide aid to those displaced families. However, he urged families and residents to leave immediately due to the ongoing risks in the area. The Uganda Red Cross has also been deployed to assist on the site. Police spokesperson for Kampala Metropolitan Area, Patrick Onyango, confirmed that 18 bodies have been recovered and are being taken to Mulago Referral Mortuary for post-mortem examinations before being returned to their families. Among those evacuated were a pregnant woman, a family, and an infant. Long-time resident Sulaimani Katende, who has lived in the area for 15 years, shared his concern about families affected by the disaster. The relatives of the deceased are in deep mourning, very shocked by the incident. And moving on, the Uganda People's Defense Forces conducted a successful operation at Kalingo Dam, Chamoko Sub-County, Abim District, resulting in the neutralization of 2 J warriors. Troops from the 85th Battalion, 507 Brigade, part of the 5 Infantry Division, executed the operation, recovering several stolen items, including an AK-47 submachine gun, serial number 19252, with 3 rounds of ammunition, a pair of UPDF digital uniform, an oil gun, a bull that had been seized by the warriors, among others. The UPDF troops ambushed a group of 5 J warriors who had stolen the bull from Aganga village, Alekale Sub-County, Abim District. The operation led to the killing of 2 warriors. The UPDF expressed its gratitude to the local leadership for their collaboration efforts in maintaining security in the sub-region. And yesterday being Sunday, the Church of Uganda in Bunyoro Kitara Diocese welcomed the new bishop, Right Reverend Jacob Akwateriho, who succeeded Dr. Samuel Kahuma. The installation ceremony of Right Reverend Jacob Akatwariho took place at St. Peter's Cathedral in Hoima. The Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Stephen Kazimba Mugaru, called for unity among Ugandans and determination to fight corruption, asking government to release youth arrested in Kampala anti-corruption protests. Speaking during the consecration and installation of the new bishop of Bunyoro Kitara yesterday morning, Bishop Kazimba also called upon church leaders and political figures at all levels to unite while addressing homosexuality. He presided over the ceremony at St. Peter's Cathedral in Hoima City alongside the House of Bishops. Reverend Canon Jacob Ateriho succeeded Bishop Samuel Kahuma Apuoli, becoming the 6th Bishop of Bunyoro Kitara Diocese. At the function, President Museveni donated a car to the new bishop and 30 million. Also, the outgoing Bishop Kahuma was given a car by the organizing committee of the consecration. And finally, from the local scene, the environmentalists have urged and urgently called for a sustainable waste management system as the only feasible solution to the country's waste disposal challenges. This call comes in a wake of the tragedy at Chitezi landfill, which claimed lives and highlighted critical issues in the current waste management practices. The country is reeling for the aftermath of Chitezi landfill slides, which not only resulted into loss of lives and property, but also exposed serious weaknesses in the nation's waste management policy. Despite the strategies implemented by city authorities, environmentalists urge that a more robust policy is necessary. They stress that the open dumping of waste is not a sustainable solution. With the ever-expanding population and increasing urbanization, Kampala faces significant challenges in managing solid waste, including inadequate infrastructure, limited resources, and informal waste disposal practices. Uganda's representative to the United Nations says that Uganda needs to do much when it comes to handling decade on ecosystem restoration. Dr. Jibril Owomugisha appeals for urgent shift towards converting waste into renewable energy as the lasting solution to waste management issues. Kitezi landfill has served as Kampala's sole dumping site since 1996, with an estimated 70,000 tons of waste being deposited each month. Dr. Owomugisha emphasized that behavior change and community engagement are essential for implementing sustainable waste management practices from the household level.
Thank you. Let's cross over into the international stories. Now, stars of sport, screen, music, and stars of sport, screen, and music came together at the Paris 2024 closing ceremony to bring the 33rd Olympic Games to an end. Actor Tom Cruise descended from the roof of Stade de France to collect the Olympic flag as part of the handover to the American city of Los Angeles. This will be hosting the next games in 2028 before him departing on a motorcycle. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Billie Eilish, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre then performed on Venice Beach as part of a star-studded music set to conclude the ceremony. Earlier, inside the stadium in Paris, gold medalists Alex Ye and Bryony Page were Great Britain's flag bearers at the ceremony. Ye won the men's triathlon in dramatic fashion, while Page won Britain's first ever Olympic trampoline gold. Great Britain finished 7th in the medal table with 14 gold, 22 silver, and 29 bronze. Their final tally of 65 medals was one more than the 64 they won in Tokyo in 2020. In his closing speech, the International Olympic Committee President Thomas Bach reflected on the sensational games. The 2024 Paralympics will be held in French capital from 28th August to 8th September. Moving on, a pilot has died after a helicopter crashed into the roof of a hotel in the northern Queensland city of Cairns. The aircraft hit the Doubletree by Hilton Hotel at around 1:50 a.m. On Monday, sparking a fire and forcing the evacuation of hundreds of guests. Authorities say the only occupant of the helicopter died at the scene, and two hotel guests, a man in his 80s and a woman in her 70s, were taken to the hospital in a stable condition. Queensland Police and Aviation Safety Watchdog are investigating the circumstances of the crash, with the company who charters the helicopter saying it was on an unauthorized flight. Amanda Kay, who was staying in the hotel on the main Esplanade in Cairns, described seeing a helicopter flying extra low without lights in rainy weather. It has turned around and hit the building, she added, adding that the aircraft blew up. Another bystander said she saw the helicopter fly past the hotel twice in the moments before the collision. And lastly, Paul Kagame has been sworn in for a fourth term as Rwanda's president after winning 99% of the vote in last month's election. While some hail Mr. Kagame for bringing peace and stability to his country after the 1994 genocide, others accuse him of running a repressive regime in a country where ordinary people are afraid to openly criticize him. Rights groups say the margin of his electoral victory is proof of the lack of democracy in Rwanda. Only two candidates were allowed to stand against Mr. Kagame in the 15th July election. In his 4 presidential elections, he has always gained at least 93% of the vote. Several African heads of state were among the many thousands who attended the ceremony in the packed 45,000 capacity Amahoro National Stadium in the capital, Kigali. On his oath of office, Mr. Kagame vowed to preserve the peace and national sovereignty and to consolidate national unity. He also pledged to never use the powers conferred upon me for personal interests. Should I fail to honor this oath, may I be subjected to the rigors of the law, he said. And that leads us to the end of our international stories this morning. But we also do have what is in the dailies today.
Well, all dailies are dominated with what happened in Chitezi, and we'll begin with the new vision this Monday morning. Chitezi garbage disaster hits 2 villages. 2 villages there. We have 21 dead so far. Experts offer solutions. President consoles affected families. Then Imbaru, over 200 circumcised during the Bugishu festival. Now, that is regarding the Imbalu. We have Bunyoro Kitara, Bishop, consecrated. Rwanda President sworn in for yet another term. New curriculum, more questions are out. And Museveni vows to fight land evictions. Well, those are some of the highlights in the new vision. Now we move to today's daily monitor. In the monitor, closing the gap, supporting breastfeeding mothers. The monitor brings you that. New dawn, old problems as River Nile sharing pact takes effect. And moving down, a big headline there, Chitezi. Accident or criminal negligence? That's a big question there. The Lizard comes in also regarding, and it says, from Bududa to the city, tragedy awaits. Chitezi was an accident waiting to happen. According to the Lizard, then Catholic priest in URA staff killing charged. Toroko wants answers on persistent floods. And Global Body Awards, National Water and Sewage Corporation, Dr. Mugisha. They give you more regarding the Chitezi dumping site. It was opened in 1996 there, and the first alert came in 2005. 2008, a red flag by the World Bank, and 2016, KCA acquired land in Dundu Mukono district. But these and more in the Daily Monitor this morning.
And crossing over to our neighbors here in Kenya, the Daily Nation has a big headline: inside Kenya's secret money printing deals. That is the top headline. But also, we do have how Gachagua outfoxed MPs plotting to impeach him, and why Kenyan victim of 1998 bomb blast will pay $8 million to U.S. agency. That and more in the Daily Nation. Also, Kenyans champions at the 2024 Paris Olympics, all on the front page of the Daily Nation this very morning. Now, crossing over to Tanzania, the big headline says how parties prepare for civic general elections, and that is the big headline. Also, Tanzania at the Olympics, 50 years of missed opportunities, and also tour operators to gamble on Indian $19 billion travel market. All that in today's copy of The Citizen. And also you do have what we call the national supplement, that is GGMI Kili Challenge 2024 ticks every box. And lastly, new digital system set to streamline grain purchases. That and so much more in today's copy of The Citizen, and that is from our neighbors here in Tanzania. Now let's get into a very short break. We'll leave you with the inspiration song of the day, and that is Conqueror by Gabin Tate.
Life